Good afternoon, everybody. Just want to check that it's not just me and that the sound is off because I can't hear anybody.
Sound is good.
Everybody's just silent and in meditation. Got it. Thank you. Greetings, everybody.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are from many, many parts of the world. A warm welcome to the opening ceremony that marks the start of our third hackathon. Shana Tova to all who observe Rosh Hashanah today, acknowledging that we have a diverse global group across many time zones and faiths, that we may have other obligations that keep us from following along in real time. We are also live streaming and recording this opening ceremony so that everyone can view it at their own pace. I am Dr. Connie Soban-Sensor. I am Vice President of the Global NGO Executive Committee, and I represent the League of Women Voters at the United Nations. I will be your moderator for this meeting. The Global NGO Executive Committee, or GNEC, has a 60-year history of partnership with the UN to guarantee a voice at the decision-making table for civil society leaders. GNEC serves the dynamic needs of an evolving global NGO community by providing strategic guidance, information, and support, amplifying communications between civil society and the UN Department of Global Communications, and facilitating more effective partnerships to advance the UN's global goals. We encourage you to learn more about GNEC at our website, GNEC.ngo. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan grassroots organization working to protect and expand voting rights and ensure everyone is represented in our democracy. We empower voters and defend democracy through advocacy, education, and litigation at the local, state, and national level. The League of Women Voters has been engaged with the UN since its beginning in 1945. Our mission supports human rights, defends democracy, and ultimately supports peace and security because democratic societies that value and support human rights, including voting rights, are peaceful societies. Both GNEC and the League of Women Voters are proud supporters and co-sponsors of our third hackathon focused on innovative actions for achieving the SDGs. As you know, the SDGs represent the 2030 Agenda of the United Nations, and the 17 goals were initiated in 2015 with a 15-year timeline set to achieve the goals by 2030. And we're more than halfway there, but not nearly close to meeting those goals. So this hackathon was inspired by a need to accelerate and revise our current plans for achieving the SDGs as global citizens of a global community. Our second hackathon engaged about 1,000 participants from 70 countries on every inhabited continent of the world. GNEC announced our top winners at our closing ceremony at the UN Civil Society Conference in Nairobi in May of 2024. So we've come a long way from our first hackathon to now our third. I see some smiles from our friends amongst us, and yes, we should all give ourselves a virtual hand here because we did a great job. So I'm grateful for our hackathon thought leaders and organizing team, to our many co-sponsors, judges, and participants in making our previous hackathons an overwhelming success. We could not have done it without you. So we have wonderful opening remarks to welcome and engage you in opening our third hackathon today, and I'm pleased to introduce our guests. And as we move along, please type your questions in the chat and we will answer as many as we can at the end of our opening remarks. So we have welcoming remarks were said to be given by Mr. Robert Oates, who is the president of the Global NGO Executive Committee, but in his stead, because we have our own guru, Dilipji, Global Chairman and CEO of the World Yoga Community and Vice President of the Global NGO Executive Committee. So I turn it over to you, Guru.
Namaste, everyone. It is my great pleasure and honor to welcome everyone to this third annual Hackathon celebration. I had to congratulate Ediola to bring this idea to this group, and all the team workers, especially Dr. Koni and all the youth and all our committee members, executive and other board members. And I want to say thank you to Hava Diallo, our full-time support for so many years for all the NGOs. And see so many people joining from other countries. It's a great experience for me to learn something new. Definitely, we all do a wonderful event for next coming 2 months. So welcome everyone. Have a wonderful celebration. Thank you. Back to Connie.
Thank you, Guru. We were due to have remarks from His Excellency Ambassador Isaiah Chabala, the permanent representative of Zambia to the United Nations. His Excellency, are you with us?
I just called him, his phone is not answering, going to a message. He may be sick or he may be traveling. Last few days I call him every day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he will join us later.
Yeah.
Mr. Felipe Capo was due to join us. And Felipe, are you with us? He's the Program Management and Communications Officer, Civil Society and Advocacy Section for the Outreach Division of the UN Department of Global Communications. Felipe, are you here? I know yesterday there was a message that he was sick. Okay, perhaps he will join us, but I know I see Hawa with us. So Ms. Hawa Taylor Kamara Delalo, the co-founder and executive director of IB Taylor Kamara Foundation. Please tell us more about your foundation and give us your welcoming remarks. And we do so miss you at the UN Department of Global Communications. Hawa is recently
Awesome.
tired, so go right ahead.
Greetings, everybody. I'm here and I'm here from everybody. Here for everybody who is not here. I'm so excited to be with everybody, with all my great colleagues and friends from GNEC. As you know, I retired after 38 years at the UN at the end of May after the Civil Society Conference to really, I guess, publicly kind of do more work in a foundation that my four brothers and I had created in 2005, really to carry on the legacy and the work of our late father, Ishmael Bai Taylor Kamara, who was a diplomat, a government official, a lawyer, and a great dad. But I grew up really seeing public service around me, even seeing the United Nations around me without really knowing what was going on. So that's something that has always stayed with me, to give back to community selflessly and to give back to people. So we've had IBTK Foundation, that's the short name, since 2005, really giving dissertation support to young people in Sierra Leone doing their dissertation. So education is really like the foundation of everything we do, because my dad was very big on foundation. Everybody in his family, he educated. He's the first person in his rural district that was educated, that became a lawyer in Sierra Leone. And that's a big thing to live up to. So I've always known that education is the way to go. So IBTK Foundation will use education in any way possible as a tool, a stepping stone to empower and build the capacity of people, specifically young people and women in marginalized areas, so that they can stand on their own feet, but also be able to give back to community, which is very important in my family. So again, good morning. Like I said, I'm honored to be here at the GNEC Hackathon. This is a place where I've seen innovators, problem solvers, future leaders, and current leaders come together to create impactful solutions for our world's most pressing challenges. I was there in Nairobi for the presentation of the winners. It was awesome. It was fantastic. Even there, we were having great ideas and really great momentum in moving forward. So now, as I said, leaving the UN, I'm not far. You may not see me all the time, but I'm close by because I am proudly leading the IB Taylor Kamara Foundation. And, in doing so and working in the UN, I've seen firsthand just how powerful collective action and technology can be in shaping a better future. Now, because of young people that I work with, I was pulled to go to a session in Houston, Texas, that was called Black Tech Is. I'm not a tech person, but I was like totally in awe when I saw a lot of young people who were inventors, innovators, leaders, entrepreneurs, mostly young people of color, but really from all around the world, who were really talking about technology as a way for using technology to improve social justice, social good. So for me, that's what I'm interested in too. How can things like this hackathon, for example, be used to improve the way people are living all around the world, but specifically in the global South? So the hackathon really is a perfect example of how we can drive forward the Sustainable Development Goals, as Connie had mentioned, focusing not just on ideas, but also on practical and scalable solutions. Now, as the distinguished scholar Jeffrey Sachs has noted, you can't solve poverty without addressing education, health, inequality, all of which are interconnected, as we see with the SDGs, with economic development and environmental sustainability. So today, success will be measured by the innovative, actionable solutions and ideas that can address these interconnected challenges to create real impact beyond this hackathon. The challenges we face, whether it's climate change, poverty, or inequality, are significant, but they're not beyond our reach. With the right strategies, tools, and collaboration, these challenges become opportunities. And the GNEC Hackathon provides a fertile ground for such collaboration, where tech-driven solutions can bring about that change that we all need. The SDGs are not isolated goals. They are deeply interconnected, as we've said. If you remember, Ban Ki-moon, our former SG, used to say always that the SDGs are an interconnected web of solutions for sustainable development. Sometimes young people may feel disconnected from the large concepts that I'm talking about. But today's hackathon really makes this challenge tangible and actionable, reminding us that innovation is key to solving all of them, and that young people are at the forefront. With just 6 years left till 2030, the deadline is really coming up behind us to achieve the SDGs. What we do today matters greatly. The ideas and the solutions that this hackathon and the young people behind are pushing will definitely contribute to broader global effort, helping us get closer to getting to the SDGs. So in conclusion, I am looking forward to hear all the great ideas that will emerge from today's event and the way forward, because I think this is not the end. You're all here not only to innovate, but to create lasting solutions and have global impact. And remember that the work we do here has the potential to shape the world that we all want, not only for today, but for the future generations, just coming from the Summit of the Future. So let's work together to harness the power of this innovation for greater good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm always with you in spirit. And this is a family that I love. I am now civil society myself, so I'm looking forward to working with everyone. So look for me online at the IBTK Foundation, ibtkfoundation.org. I can't wait to be working with everybody. Thank you so much, Connie. Over to you.
Thank you, Howard. You're always so inspirational. I think you have us all energized right now and ready to jump into the next step. So thank you again for being with us. And we feel the same way about you, that we're one big family. So thank you always for your support. So I'm going to now turn it over to, oh, look at the hearts. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to turn it over to our two young gentlemen who have really been instrumental in putting our hackathons together. It was their innovative ideas that got us started, and we were able to partner and turn this into a very successful venture. So Mr. Jason Zhu and Mr. Royo Zhu. Jason is the Assistant Global Coordinator of the GNEC Hackathon, and Royo is the Global Coordinator and 2024 GNEC Hackathon Lead. And I'll let them tell you a little more about themselves and the project and how we're going to get started with our hackathon.
Yeah, thank you so much, Connie, for the kind introduction, and a heartfelt thanks to all of our speakers who spoke today, sharing their insightful remarks. Now I'll first hand it over to Jason, the founder of the GNEC Hackathon, to share a quick introduction about the hackathon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jason, and I'm a current student at UPenn, and I was the founder of the GNEC Hackathon in its first year. In the past 3 years, our event organization teams have been working hard at making a difference to create hackathon events like these, and we have enjoyed making this difference towards the UN SDGs. For participants, we have awarded $1,000 in cash prizes and have matched countless students and those seeking with opportunities for internships and possibilities with the NGO and CSO spheres who are in need of volunteers. For our work, we were invited to close our hackathon at the UN Civil Society Conference, which we did last season. And I just want to say again that I'm so amazed at the team who have worked tirelessly to make this event happen. And thank you all for being the youth delegation that is shaping our future tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Jason, for sharing your experience. And I'm ever so grateful for the team that we have to make this happen. And it is especially the things that Hawa and other speakers have mentioned thus far about youth engagement and technology that have inspired us to actually start this hackathon just a few years ago. But for those of you who are new, you may be wondering still, what is a hackathon? So a hackathon is essentially a creative and technological competition where participants are challenged to develop innovative solutions centered around a specific theme within a limited time frame. And the primary goal of a hackathon is to spark creativity and innovation, motivating participants to think outside of the box. And furthermore, these ideas aim to inspire global collaboration and the exchange of groundbreaking solutions. Before we dive into the event's rules and specifics, we would like to extend our sincere thanks to the incredible partners who made this event possible. Our partners who are listed here have worked diligently to offer resources and prizes that will fuel innovation and inspire participants. We would particularly like to welcome World Yoga Community and Airline Ambassadors International as new NGO partners this year. Thanks to all of our partners' efforts, participants will have the chance to compete for web service subscriptions, gift cards, and even potential internship opportunities with some of our partnering NGOs. Now let's take a quick look at the roadmap for the hackathon. Immediately following this opening ceremony, the hackathon's working period will officially begin, although I actually think that the submission portal on DevPost is already open, so that's where you'll be submitting your projects when you're done with them. The working period will run for a month and a half this time around, starting today, October 3rd, and concluding on November 17th at noon Eastern Time. We choose to extend the working period this hackathon due to the feedback that our team has received from the past two hackathons, which now allows for further project development. Starting the day after, on November 18th to December 3rd, a panel of experienced judges from our affiliated NGOs will thoroughly review each project and provide valuable feedback, ranking them from most innovative to most sustainable. We will wrap up the event with a closing ceremony on December 5th, where we will announce the winners and showcase the hackathon's results. Participants will attend virtually via Zoom or YouTube, and we will provide detailed instructions as the date approaches. Now, throughout the hackathon, we will be utilizing these two key platforms, Discord and DevPost, so make sure you familiarize yourself with these platforms. DevPost is the official platform for the hackathon where you will interact with the submission portal and upload your projects at the end of the working period. If you haven't yet joined on DevPost, please scan the QR code provided here and register, as that will be the way to submit your projects when you're done. Since our hackathon is being held virtually, all communication and updates will be posted through our GNEC Hackathon Discord server. Here you can interact with fellow participants, form teams, and seek assistance from moderators. We also post key announcements and updates here, so if you haven't already joined the server, please do so by scanning this QR code. And you can access these QR codes and links on the DevPost page by simply Googling the GNEC Hackathon website as well. Naturally, there are a few essential rules and guidelines to follow for the competition. Submissions will include a short video, no longer than 5 minutes, where participants can showcase and explain their projects. Typically, this is done through an unlisted YouTube videos, but we've received different types of submissions of these videos as well. Additionally, any code that should be submitted as a zip file, while other project formats like product designs or business plans should be uploaded as a slideshow or a PDF. It's important to note that we do not accept cross submissions, meaning that projects that are created before the hackathon will not be accepted. Our team will be verifying each project, and any project found to be submitted prior to the event will actually be disqualified. Teams may consist up to 5 participants, and there are no age restrictions since everyone is welcome. If you joined the hackathon without a team, do not worry, as you can connect with others on the Discord and use the designated channels to find teammates. And as we have done for the past 2 hackathons, the hackathon's theme will once again be focusing on the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. You can scan the QR code here to learn more about them, But as our hackathon's mission is to foster connections between nonprofit NGOs and participants while also promoting the awareness of SDGs, we would like to invite all participants to focus their projects on addressing one or more of these goals. We intentionally leave the prompt open-ended to allow participants to follow their passions and interests. And we encourage everyone to think boldly and creatively because your idea could be the one that leads to groundbreaking innovation in the future. With that, we would like to begin the hacking, and we will also open the floor for any questions. Yeah, so back to you, Connie.
Thank you, Royo and Jason. Again, you're so inspirational. And, I'd like to mention both of you are still in high school, correct?
I actually just started my first semester of university, but he's still in high school.
Well, excellent. But I just, the idea that, ageism is not a thing here. We anticipate that most of our participants will be on the younger side, but we're open to everybody. And, so don't let that be an impediment or a barrier. But I'm so proud of all that you've accomplished, in this early part of your life. And wow, we have the future generations right here in front of us. So I'm very proud. Felipe has joined us. And so I'm going to let him offer us some remarks. Mr. Felipe Capo is a Program Management and Communications Officer from the Civil Society and Advocacy Section, Outreach Division, UN Department of Global Communication. And after Felipe, we'll turn it back to Jason and Royo to answer any questions that you might have.
Thanks, Amelia. Okay, I'm mute. I think, yes. Everyone can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
So like 4 years doing this, and we always fail. I mean, I always fail to just do this right. A million apologies. We had a small crisis in the office, and I was counting on. Usually we are always late in these things, but you're not only on time, you're ahead of schedule. So congratulations on that for the first, as the first thing. Thank you so much to GNEC and for the invitation to have us with you. DGC is well, we are a natural partner of yours, and you're a natural partner of ours in the work that we do with civil society. And we want to thank you for this initiative. I think it's very timely. Is very relevant that we continue emphasizing the role that civil society plays in this. And I want to thank, as I said, the work that GNEC is carrying out, aligned with everything that we've done together for Nairobi conference, for the Summit of the Future, for the Action Days, and everything that has happened. I mean, we just come out of a week that has been fantastic for civil society, and a season that has been particularly productive for all of us. Out of the Nairobi conference that took place in May, and by the way, I see my former colleague, my wonderful Hawa. So hi, Hawa. I don't get to see you often, so it's really good to see you. Howard will tell you how fantastic Nairobi was, how incredible the first civil society conference in the Global South was, and the outcome, which were 24 impact coalitions that we're working with to implement the recommendations of the Pact for the Future and the 2 annexes. The Global Digital Compact, so relevant today with AI and technology, and the Declaration of Future Generations on youth engagement and whatnot. Those 24 impact coalitions were deemed so important that the Executive Office of the Secretary General tasked them, together with the major groups and other relevant stakeholders, to configure the program of the Action Days in preparation for the Summit of the Future and then participation at the Summit of the Future. Our office handled 1,400 stakeholders applications to participate in the Summit of the Future itself, from 1,200 organizations, and we recommended 21 speakers for the summit itself from civil society, and all of them were accepted by the Office of the President of the General Assembly. Those record numbers are indicative that more and more member states are including, not only in the resolutions and whatnot, civil society, but in the conversations. And the impact coalitions are just that, a working group comprised of people from the private sector, civil society, member states, the UN system, and academia to work together for a better future. I think that GNEC, throughout the years, I've been with the office for 16 years in the civil society space, first as an intern, then I've been evolving and changing and morphing and learning from different people and mentors like Hawa, and adapting and understanding the new realities. And I think that you have always kept us on our toes. Civil society has always been that leading entity that has been demanding from the UN a response. So much so, as you know, that a few years ago in 2022, when the Secretary General issued his report, Our Common Agenda, he identified, well, he proposed 3 spaces for civil society, items 121, 122, and 140, that said civil society deserves to have a safe, meaningful, and active space within the work of the organization. And then he turned to member states in item 140 and told them, and you should consider several things. By the way, I've heard several things. One is a high-level caucus for civil society in the high-level week in September. That's something that the Secretary General Antonio Guterres proposed to member states. Second, a revision of Resolution 1996/31 on engagement of civil society with the UN system and all the organs. The Secretary General himself went to member states and said, and we need to reconsider how do we engage and how do we include civil society in all this, but without forgetting their safety. Without forgetting that sometimes in some spaces, member states that do not feel comfortable working with civil society retaliate against. So in this new space that we are creating of a stronger, safer, more meaningful civic space within the UN system for everyone to be included. And as I said, that includes the private sector, academia, and everyone in between. I think that we are, by working together, generating the momentum, and member states are responding. The 6 co-facilitators for the 3 documents and the summit itself, they realized the relevance of this engagement, so much so that they participated, 5 of them in person, 1 of them virtual, of the 6 facilitators at the conference in Nairobi. Their presence alone, plus we had 24 plus, I believe, ambassadors and permanent representatives and deputy permanent representatives in Nairobi, based in Nairobi, to the UN who attended. We had 40 UN entities that, I mean, the participation was so strong, even with the limited space and resources that we had, that it demonstrated that the path forward is really multi-stakeholder engagement. And we are getting away, I mean, allow me to say, a personal understanding of this space, because it's very hard to find official language in this. But I think we're moving away from what we call multilateralism, and we're getting into multi-stakeholderism, which is not something that member states like a lot. But let me explain why. Multilateralism is meetings on equals, working with equals, member states with member states. And that's it. We tried to expand the definition to member states with others, but it really didn't fit because they were not treated like equals. They were not treated, member states were not treating civil society or the private sector as equal interlocutors. The new approach of multi-stakeholderism or multi-stakeholder multilateralism is a new way of doing business within the UN system, where we are all part of the same effort, and we understand that without each other, we will not be able to accomplish much. And that looking at others above or below ourselves or other spaces is not the way to go. That's why the impact coalitions that we created for the conference, that you created for the conference, we are just supporting them, have been so fundamental, because it is a meeting of peers. It is a meeting of people from different sectors, private sector entities, academic institutions, member states, UN system, and civil society working together as, again, at the same level, as equals, as pursuing a common good. And that has demonstrated that not only that it can be done, but it can be done effectively, that the outcome, we have seen the side events and the different meetings and the program of the action days, which were fantastic, the participation of the Summit of the Future. But after the Summit of the Future and the Pact for the Future has been adopted, what's next? That is where you come into action. You really are the implementers of the Pact for the Future and the recommendations. You're really the entities that will make it a reality. That vision that member states had through the intergovernmental process, with consultation with civil society, but not so inclusive, in my view. Again, I hope not to get in trouble for saying this, but I think that the relevance of this is you really are the ones who will carry the torch of moving forward with this ambitious program of a world that sees a new UN, the UN 2.0, with a new approach, everyone working together and with a common goal, leaving no one behind, which is what Agenda 2030 said. And in that spirit, supporting the goals, the Sustainable Development Goals, supporting the engagement of all these actors and moving forward hand in hand together is the way to really have a successful outcome for a summit or a conference. We are done with just outcome documents from conferences. We are done with declarations. They're nice and dandy. What do we do afterwards? How do they really become a reality? And as I said, that is where you, as civil society, as that space of the stakeholders that really care and are really, really on the ground and aware of what is going on, you are fundamental for their success, for the foreseeable future. So if I have one message to say, besides saying, as I said, thank you for everything that you're doing, and thank you for this hackathon, and thank you for inviting us to be part of this, is that your role is much more fundamental than you perhaps understand. And let me tell you the secret that I always tell all the groups that I talk to, but I really believe is it is the UN needs you much more than you need the UN. The UN is in their need of everyone working together. There's only right like how many 100,000 plus working at the Secretary of the UN globally, with 8+ billion people on this planet. Would be very naive to think that the UN can solve the problems. We would be very naive to think that the UN has the solutions to all the challenges, or that we know the realities on the ground. It is civil society, the ones that really monitor, implement, carry out, and really have the knowledge and have the relationships and have the capacity to make a difference in the world. And the motto of our office has always been working together, making a difference. And it's only by working together with civil society, I would add, that we can really make that difference. So thank you for this initiative. Thank you for having us as your partners. We really enjoy working with you. We really enjoy see what you do. And we really enjoy being part of that revolution that is happening with this UN 2.0 that the SG called in 2022 in his report. And let's make it a reality. Let's have fun. At the same time, the UN can be a fun place also, but for good. Let's have fun for good, and let's make sure that we move forward. And I had to say thank you also to my former mentor, continuing mentor, Hawa, because her energy and her drive has always been an impressive inspiration for everything that we want to do in civil society. And now that she's with civil society, I know that she will make even more noise and will have more of an impact. So thank you, Connie, also for this invitation, and we look forward to working together.
Felipe, thank you so much. I think today we've had such messages of inspiration and hope, and it's great to hear it coming from the UN side. So thank you. I know you won't get in trouble from us for anything that you said because we're right there. But I think all of you have embraced something that I heard once at a conference, and I think that it really resonates. And it's, if you really have a successful event, people join because they want to learn something new, they want to meet new people, and they want to have fun. And you embraced all of that, right? So we ought to call it the Hackathon party, and we're all headed to the party. And I think that will be wonderful. I just wanted to also acknowledge that there were many members of our GNEC board joining us on this on this opening ceremony. I believe that our President Utu has joined us, Idioli Pashalare, who is also one of the co-presidents. We have Father Brian Mutes. We have His Royal Highness Prince Adnan El Hashemite, Joseph DeMeyer, Adrian Berg, Dase Diahara, Richard Jordan, and Ola Aina. So we have a very good representation from our GNEC board as well here. I don't know if you want to say anything else to add, and then of course if there's any questions. But again, what a great meeting. I feel like it just like my heart's ready to burst. It really is great. So thank you all.
Thank you very much. So nice to be here. Sorry, I can't put on my video. My internet is very unstable. Nice to see all the great people in the house. Jason and the Rio, they're doing a great work. I don't have much to say. I'm sure Guru had spoken on my behalf. It's so nice to have Felipe and all the great people with us. So that's all I can say. Thank you so much, Connie, for running this through. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Adrian, did you want to say something?
Actually, I wanted to respond to something in the chat that Howard wrote, which is in response to Felipe's wonderful presentation, which is where do we start? I was at the Summit of the Future, and multilateralism, not multi-stakeholderism, was discussed a lot. And in fact, they're having trouble with that. One of the ways that they're trying to have more input is expanding some of the basic committees to include Africa, South America, and it's a struggle there. So I think where we have to start is where the GNEC podcast goes on the ground, which is show everyone what's working. What this hackathon is working, and it's going to work even more so this year. I think there's going to be a lot of breakthrough innovations, and if we can take the next step on this hackathon and implement some of the winners and some of the non-winners in civil society to help NGOs prosper, to help private companies prosper, this is going to go toward the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly with regard to the digital divide, which they talked about a lot, and particularly with regard to education, equity, which they talked about a lot. So I think we have a real opportunity, as Felipe said here, to make an impact by not just coming up with a report or, a program or another conference, but a real statement of what's working, how we made it work. And that's going to get some attention. So that's where I think we start from the context of the hackathon, of what we can do. Not just have a successful hackathon, but have successful after party, as Connie would say with regard to this. And I'm very excited because I've interviewed both these young men last year, and they are powerhouses. So I know it's going to be better than ever. And I'm so proud to be a new member of the board, not just the host of your podcast. Thanks.
Thank you, Adrian. Are there any more questions about the hackathon, comments about anything that we've discussed today? Okay,
I have a question.
okay.
First of all, I'm speaking to you from El Salvador and representing Airline Ambassadors International. We're pleased to be a part of this important initiative. It's involving so many people. We have a couple of projects, one in the United States helping provide clean water for the Hopi and Navajo Indians, and also a global project on human trafficking. We would like to enter. Do we have to, how do we create this video? Does it say this is a video entry to the hackathon? What we have to tie it, will be tied to the Sustainable Development Goals, of course. But is there any rules, or we can just create a short video?
I'm going to turn that over to Jason and Royo to answer.
Hi. Yeah, thank you so much for partnering with us, and we're looking really forward to working with you. In regards to submitting the project, as a sponsor, we haven't traditionally received project submissions from sponsors before, so we would love to maybe set up a meeting sometime to chat about that separately, but it's just because that we've never traditionally done that before. Most of our submissions are from individuals around the world who just partake as participants. So we would love to be able to partner with you, and perhaps after this meeting, we could find the time to chat about that. Thank you so much.
So can you put in the chat how they should get in touch with you if people want to continue the conversation?
Yeah, sure. I will type in the chat our GNEC Hackathon email, which is where we can discuss
further questions as well.
So they're going to type it in the chat. Oh, look at how quick they are. Okay, so it's the GNEC Hackathon at gmail.com. And you can continue the conversation more specifically. I mean, my thoughts are you're a sponsoring organization, but perhaps you have people within your group even that would be willing to put a project together and submit it. So not on behalf of the organization, but as individuals, with the project they've been working on. I don't know if that would work out as well, but certainly we're very open to participation from everyone in civil society. It's not limited, just as the summit, the Civil Society Conference in Nairobi was not limited only to UN affiliated NGOs, which really changed the participation and a lot of the dialogue. And I think that we are doing the same thing here with our hackathon, that we certainly are welcome and open to be inclusive of everyone. So we'll find a way to make it work, Nancy. But thanks for being with us. Okay, so Adrienne also put in her contact information. She is running our podcasts. So if you're interested in being interviewed for the podcast, she'll put something together. And so that is Adrienne Berg, Adrienne G. Berg @gmail.com, and that's in the chat. Okay, and Hal was saying that they want to sponsor youth from Sierra Leone to submit. So yeah, so Hal, we would like to meet with you too. This is great. We've already off to a great start. So you know, and again, this is recorded and it's going to be posted, I think, on the our GNEC site so that people can review this opening ceremony. But if there are, I don't want to stop talking because I think this is such a great conversation. So it really is a successful party that we're having here today, an opening party. So in closing, okay, I see there's more in the chat there for how to connect with each other, and please take advantage of that. So our hackathon, from what I've heard today, and you know, the inspiration and the hope of you know, really being a global community. I would say there would be, if we had no passports, right? We would be living on one planet and one people and maybe world peace. I don't know. But I think that I love the way that we're all connected right here and right now. So the hackathon engages the principles of the Summit of the Future and its key documents, such as the Declaration of the Future Generations, the Pact for the Future, and most importantly, the Global Digital Compact, right? We're finding a way to really put that to good use to connect all of us. So I look forward to your participation and your innovative projects aiming to achieve the SDGs. And I thank you all for joining, and with gratitude for those who could not join us live for viewing the recording later. Good luck, and we will be in touch throughout the contest and at our closing ceremony in early December on the UN International Day of Volunteers. So I hope that we all stay connected, and thank you for this really powerful opening ceremony. Okay. And special thanks to Royu and Jason, you're superstars.
Thank you everyone else for participating as well. And thank you, the GNEC board, for showing up and also being present here. It's an honor to have everyone.
Thank you so much for everyone's participation.
Okay. And we're about to adjourn, so thank you all.